Hello, everyone, and welcome to Snap Take. This is Glazer of Snap Judgments, the official podcast of Marvel Snap Zone. And while I may be on vacation, the content here on Snap Judgments never ever stops. We take 0 days off. Today, we've got a really special, interesting day for you. I have these 4 decks that look like meme decks. All of them are proven infinite winners. All of them have got infinite. All of them have succeeded in infinite. And I wanted to feature these decks. But everyone's going to be like, these are memes, these aren't real decks. No, these decks actually work, they're actually proven, and I wanted to show you something that you can not only win with, but have an awesome time with when you play it. So we're going to begin, as always, with whenever we talk about weird decks, we got to talk about Owl, Owl God, Owl Dog, name them what you want. Owl is a phenomenal player. Owl created the original mini move decks that Lambie ended up refining into Silky Smooth. Owl is a brilliant top-notch deck builder who plays all sorts of wild stuff. Owl released this deck quite a while ago, and I'm going to be completely honest with you. I saw this list and went, there's no freaking way this list works. This doesn't seem like a real list. And then our friend Lil Robitussin, who you can find on Twitch at Lil Robitussin1, played the shit out of it and dominated with it, and this list is real and it's powerful. You can find Owl at twitter.com/owlsnap. Phoenix Force kind of guess be Lady Deathstrike. Phoenix Force is kind of meanie in this list. I'll give it that. The rest of the list is not a joke, though. Null, Mockingbird, and X23 are needed cards. So this is a completely insane list. Turn 1 is sort of whatever 1. Turn 2 is sort of whatever 2. Turn 3 is Shauna. Turn 4 is Mockingbird, and then you Killmonger when you can. Turn 5, you blow up more stuff with whatever other destroy card. This is a fine Killmonger spot if you would like to. Then turn 6, if you can, you play Death and Null. There is one alternate thing here that you should know about. You can go Human Torch into Carnage or Venom into Phoenix Force. And if you do that, you can move around the Phoenix Force. And if they destroy your Phoenix Force, your Null is completely freaking overpowered. It's worth remembering that that is a different option you can do here. Also, if you do that, and then let's say you get that turn 4 Phoenix Force, and you've destroyed an X23 along the way, because X23 is not a threat here, you can end up going like turn 5, you can end up going like Shauna and Killmonger, destroying your moved Phoenix Force, destroying all those Shauna cards, which is going to be, especially if you have X23, you now have enough energy and power for a giant Null and Death to end the game, which is just silly. There's a million different little plays like that that make this deck really, really cool and really powerful that I urge you to try. I know this seems insane. Try this out. You're going to have a blast and win some games. This deck hit Infinite with like an 80% win rate, but Owl's a beast, so that's almost unfair. Lil Robitussin had success with this in the Infinite ranks. Right after this, we're going to talk about a little bit of stuff first, and then we're going to go with a deck that wants to play Havoc on turn 3. And no, that's not a joke. We're going to talk about Havoc on 3. But first, please hit that sub button if you're willing. If you want more Marvel Snap decks, more original Marvel Snap decks, more proven Marvel Snap decks than anyone, please hit that sub button. We're trying to hit 15,000 subs by the end of the year. Right below me, you'll see a little red YouTube button. If you click that, you're subbed. You've helped us achieve our goal, and we'd really appreciate it. If you're willing to like and comment, it will further help us with that algorithm. Thank you so freaking much. We also do a ton of Season Pass giveaways. We're giving away a Season Pass at the beginning of next week when I'm back home, and that Season Pass winner will be chosen from the comments of one of the videos from this week, whether it be my video or one of the people filling in eventually later this week for me. So if you want to, there will be a question in every video. You answer that question, you're entered to win the Season Pass. Also, next week, we're giving away 5 of the new Season Pass Symbiote Spider-Man, and the week after, we're giving away 5 more. So if you're interested in winning those, please hit that sub button, like, and leave a comment later in this video. All right. We're actually going to skip this one for now and move on to Nerd Dynamite's Havoc on 3. This list is so freaking cool. You do need Havoc for it, but basically you Havoc on 3, and because you have so many card generators and cheap things to do, you can then Sasquatch and Mockingbird, and then if you play Havoc on 3, he's going to be 12 by the beginning of turn 6. That's enough to make Scar cheaper. As is, if you can get both Sasquatch and Mockingbird down, you now have a free Scar. If you can get one of them down, you have a 2-cost Scar. That is so freaking cool. I love it. So you can find Nerd Dynamite on youtube.com/@NerdDynamite. Please go give him a sub. We'd really appreciate the extra support for this new YouTuber. He's trying to get to 1,000 subs so he can be monetized. Check out Nerd Dynamite for really, really cool builds. Nico is really hard to cut here. I want to say that Nico is cuttable, but that demon is so freaking good. I know this is crazy, but I think Hood might be the only real Nico replacement here. I couldn't find a card I really loved. Jeff, or White Widow, should be Kate Bishop. I think actually Kate Bishop is significantly better than one of those two cards. Which of those two cards? I don't really have a huge preference. I'd probably cut Jeff first, but it could go either way. I do think that Kate Bishop needs to be in this list. Kate Bishop gives you extra cheap cards to play and extra cheap cards that let you play Sasquatch. They could also be Maria Hill, Mirage, Cable, or Sentinel. You can add any of the card changes. Oh, Maria Hill could be Nico here too. Mirage is really great in this deck. Cable is really great. Sentinel gives you a nice cheap card to replay. Just generally get stuff out so that you can play a bunch of cheap cards. All you need is 3. You can make some argument that you might want Mysterio here because Mysterio on 4 gives you that 3-cost Sasquatch and that nice cheap Mockingbird, which means if you Squirrel Crow... Oh wait, Mysterio's here. I'm an idiot. Excuse me. Mysterio is great here. Mysterio with Wasp. So you've got 3 energy, right? For the rest of the game. So turn 4, you go Mysterio, Wasp, and Nico, whatever. You've got enough to play even though you have 3 energy, you've got enough to play Mockingbird and Sasquatch the next turn. It's wildly cool. Super powerful deck, very interesting. So I don't know why this works, but this does, although you do need some specific draws. Turn 1, Squirrel Girl. Turn 2, Goose. Turn 3, Havoc. Turn 4, Mysterio, Wasp, and a 1. Turn 5, Mockingbird and Sasquatch. Turn 6, Scar, and some other stuff. And you win because you just dropped 1,000,000 power while your opponent snapped on you when they saw you Havoc on 3. It's so freaking cool. All right. So we're going to talk about the Stream Team next, and then you're going to keep watching, hopefully, for a Man-Thing Deathstrike deck that got Infinite before the buffs. So because this got Infinite before both Man-Thing and Lady Deathstrike were buffed, I think it's worth checking out in Infinite right now because, hell, if it was good when the cards were worse, how good is it right now? One last look at this. Havoc on 3, and yes, I did buy this really cool Havoc variant. This is the only X-Factor looking Havoc. The other ones are like either more modern Havocs or the old X-Men Nuclear Head. The Meltdown one is my favorite, but I decided to go with this one because I feel like this one looks sort of better with Scar and Mysterio. Cool. All right, Stream Team. Stream Team real fast is people who will stream these videos. It is Sunday, so the King of Canada will be streaming these decks later on today. Please check out the King of Canada. Monday morning, he will also have a YouTube video of these up. FaThorNewman will have yesterday's decks, and then I'm not sure if Gregor is home tomorrow. If Gregor is not home tomorrow on Monday, then GamingwithFlashX will be featuring a bunch of these decks as well. Cool. Check it out. King Koala's Infinite Cake. So King Koala is a longtime friend of the channel. Hey King, hope you're doing well. So we used to feature King Koala's decks every single month on the channel. King Koala has, since, as far as I'm aware, global launch, hit Infinite with Quake every season. They're awesome. So that has not stopped now that Quake is an actual good card. So this is fundamentally a Quake list. I want Pixie in this list real bad. I think Pixie and Mobius would be absolutely incredible here, but this list has multiple different win conditions, multiple different ways to sort of like ruin your opponent's life. You've got a Nihilus package, so of course you can go Nihilus. You can also get rid of the Sentry Hood stuff by using Lady Deathstrike. Either one of those are fine. Meanwhile, Man-Thing is just insanely strong right now. Man-Thing is so much power, especially combined with Luke Cage. He's just like a 411. So if you can get Man-Thing in the right lane early, and then you can sort of ruin an opponent's life with a Lady Deathstrike or an Nihilus elsewhere, you're just in really great shape, and then you can still close the game out with the Shang-Chi or another card. You can find Keen on twitter.com/KingKoala. Copycat is pick a good 3, Nocturne, Mobius, whatever, and Lady Deathstrike could really only be Cersei. I know that's going up series, sorry. Ooh, that's not the turn-by-turn for this. We're going to do a turn-by-turn right here. Ready? Then we're going to do a top 40 Arishem deck. Sorry about that. Again, vacation. What are you going to do? Turn 1, you would really like to play Hood, preferably in the right lane, but you're also fine mid. Then you would like to play Hawkeye on turn 2. Mysterio is a fine turn 2 play, but without Mockingbird, Mysterio is just a regular good card, not an amazing card. Turn 3, you're almost always going to have to get out Luke Cage as a general rule because you don't have the energy for it later. Turn 4 is either Gwenpool or Man-Thing. Once in a while, it is Sentry if you're trying to do Sentry and Nihilus right away if you already got Hood, but Gwenpool is a stellar play here. Cool. Turn 5, you are generally speaking choosing between Annihilus and Lady Deathstrike, depending on which one will have a greater impact on the board. If you played Sentry, Annihilus often has a greater impact if you're playing a deck that can't fill the board. If not, if they are filling the board, and especially if they have priority, Lady Deathstrike is usually phenomenal there and often game-winning, and remember, that is a 5/7. Then you're trying to win the game. You can play either the other high series, the other Annihilus and Lady Deathstrike, or you can try and drop Shang-Chi to close the game. Feel free to also, if you gwenpooled on 4, use Man-Thing on the last turn of the game to win as well. That's the list. That's how you play with it. It's really strong. It's really cool, and you should check it out. All right, if you're interested in checking out our Patreon as well, I try not to do this all the time, but our goal is to hit 1 new sub every couple weeks. So if you're willing, we'd really appreciate it. The $1 tier, the lowest tier, is really simple. You get tournament access. We run multiple mini tournaments. We call them King of the Hills on our Discord. You have to be a $1 Patreon to join them. People usually have a great time with them. We also, at the $1 tier, have a deck archive. It's not totally up to date right now because, again, vacation, but we will have an updated, even better deck archive, basically the instant we get back home. And if you subscribe to the $1 tier, it ends up being like less than 3 cents a video. Gunny's going to yell at me because Gunny always does the math on how much it is. But it's like we do, look, as far as full-length, long-form videos, if there's 30 days in a month, we do 32-ish videos because we also do separate OTA videos / patch videos. So like you end up with like 32 or 33 videos a month for $1. The $5 tier gets you early access to videos. Basically, they're emailed to you as soon as I make them, and you get access to the decks earlier, as you can find, obviously, the deck archive. You also get exclusive questions and the Deck Doctor on the $5 tier. So exclusive questions are basically, if you have a question for me, you can always ask and I will immediately answer. And if you have a deck you'd like me to take a look at, work on, and perhaps even feature, that is the $5 tier. The $10 tier is a shout out every video, at least 1 weekly exclusive video, and a monthly exclusive podcast that we've sort of been slacking on that we've got to get back up to date on, largely because some of our friends have been busy. We do our very best. We also, we had an exclusive Lambie video. We paid Lambie to do an exclusive $10 tier video. We do all sorts of cool stuff like that on the $10 tier. And if you're on the $10 tier and have a suggestion, please do let us know. We will do our best to make it a reality. And if we can't, I'll explain as honestly as I can why. All right. Sorry. If you're interested, again, patreon.com/snapjudgments. Thanks. All right. Dai Cavallo's Ari Aniali. This list should not work, but it's so good. I am a little bit in love with it. I think this is super cool. I found this right before I went away. Dai Cavallo, I spelled it wrong, sorry. The I's, and then Dai Cavallo is a finished in the top 20 last season and is in the top 40 right now with this list. This is basically saying, well, if we're going to buff Lady Deathstrike and Man-Thing, I want to play them earlier because they are such good stats and they can ruin the opponent. That's what this list is. It's awesome. If you have the access to this list, please give it a try. Annihilus is 100% an extra card here. Annihilus is here because this meta is so freaking junk-filled. I don't know if you're seeing it, but I'm seeing an absolute ton of junk. And if you're sick of all that junk, Annihilus does that job for you. If not, replace it with whatever other card. If you're interested in arishem concepts and arishem decks, we've got a giant breakdown of arishem, what makes them so good, and the best arishem cost curve possible in tomorrow's video, and you don't want to miss that. All right, so there's plenty of other... Oh my god. I don't know how to spell. There's plenty of other Alliance decks if you're missing key cards, but Copycat can be Nocturne, Gladiator, or any good 3. Annihilus and Deathstrike can only really be Cersei. I think Annihilus is actually probably better as Cersei for a lot of different matchups. You can also make Annihilus sort of anything. I would tend to err towards something like either Quinjet or Nick Fury. Although I guess there's some argument for Vision, or Captain Marvel as well. I don't know. There's a lot of options. It's arishem. Okay. So this is easy wins, right? Your opponent does not expect these cards out of arishem. And if you've played arishem, you know that you're often winning games just by doing things your opponent doesn't expect you to. Turn 1, you pass or generate card. Turn 2, you still Loki if you can. Coulson is a fine backup. Turn 3, Loki, Man-Thing, or Coulson. And if they're playing early cards and you can get that Man-Thing down, you just sort of shut down a lane. You can also save Man-Thing to later. Turn 5, Mockingbird or Deathstrike. If they're good at Clog, Annihilus here is hilarious. And Legion will sometimes scam you a victory. Legion, I guess, could be changed here too. Legion doesn't seem terribly, terribly important like Annihilus here. Again, Vision is perfectly fine there. Alliath or Shang end the game. You can also end up Alliathing on turn 5 and then Shang on turn 6 as the case warrants. Tons of power to this list. Again, like, Lady Deathstrike is so good right now. Like, Lady Deathstrike and Man-Thing are completely broken together. But even when you don't see them together, like, that's 14 power in a lane that got rid of a lot of, like, anything your opponent had that was cheap and 5 power. So, like, that'll kill your opponent's copycat and shit like that. It's awesome. It's just awesome. It's 14 base power, and then Man-Thing is often representing 2 to 4 more power. So, it's crazy, crazy powerful. Also, don't be afraid to Legion that Man-Thing lane. You've got all sorts of silly options to win. This list is really cool. Props to Daikavallo for coming up with it. Questions of the day, and then we are out of here. Our first question is from Ginger Prime. Hey, Ginge. He asks about the Iceman and Red Guardian emotes. So the Iceman emote, I'm going to tell you the way I use it. I'm not going to tell you the way everyone uses it. The Iceman emote means I recognize the player's name, and I think that they're really good and might beat me. I give the Iceman at the beginning of the game. The Red Guardian emote is at the end of the game when it was really close. Cool. So I use them at totally different times. Iceman means I'm worried. Red Guardian means this is close. I guess that's different enough. McDonaldinho wants to know how Marvel Snap pet peeves. He hates phrases like mana and crafting cards, using things from other games in Marvel Snap. The mana thing doesn't bother me. I don't love crafting cards. Probably because I played Magic and didn't play Hearthstone, but I'm fine with that. My pet peeve is, so I don't actually care about getting emoted 90% of the time, but like when I'm playing what I think are fairly clear get my alliance shit done decks, like if I'm playing a clear move 7 or destroy 8 deck, and you beat me and then you emote me, I'm annoyed. And I'm not annoyed because like you beat me. I don't actually care that you beat me. It's that like, you know what I was doing. Why are you so proud of yourself, you turd? Like that doesn't make any sense to me. It is genuinely a pet peeve. I don't care about mean comments. I don't like comments that forget that we're all people and that there might be reasons for things we do. Like asking nicely goes a long way and we'll get a much better response than being rude. Quantum Quinn wants to know if people are retreating better and we have any other player tendencies from the event Deadpool's Diner. Yeah. When I snap early, I'm getting a lot more retreats than I used to, even in the top 1,000. I think Deadpool's Diner sort of trained people that snaps are real, and I think that's really important to know. Snapping and retreating well is a very important thing, and props to Quantum Quinn for noticing it, because I don't think I'd consciously registered that was happening, but I bet you that's actually literally Deadpool's Diner lessons. So, very cool. All right, certain changes of support on our Patreon come with on-air thanks. I'm going to say thank you to Abigail Kiesland, Mandatory Burnout, Cables, Matt H, Irregardless, David G. Wingfield, Direwolf, LAB, FaThorNewman, Good Dog Gamer, Deuce Vault Inc., I Am Frostman, Jay Neferit, Corwin, Primed Ryan, Ryan Burke, Kertixley, Koire, Pyrofros, The Goat Seeker, Danman Falcon, Quid Pro Joe, Archangel 3K, Docty, whose speed video you should totally check out. My speed video will be out tomorrow. Fat Nick, Ginger Prime, Philip Ratkovich, Haplo, Kenny Loggins of the Danger Zone, Rob Silverman, The Bizza, X-Force V, and Skippy G, Tommy Nyquist, who won Snap Justice League Season 1 and is sponsoring 3, the King of Bros, sponsor of Season 2 was the aforementioned Primed Ryan, King of Bros, Black Dahlia, whose alliance I'm joining next season, The Great Kazoo, Jessica Gamble, Ryan Wood, Woody, Kevsey Hoda, Lunacris, Quantum Quinn, John Q, Clam, 8th Sage, Models, Mod Supreme, Darth Tater, Remus Atala, Brian Kaufman, Tristan H. Martin, J. D. McDonaldinho, The Fuzzy Dunlop, Spectrum Mix, Matt H., DJ, Mikey, Hijinks, No Frickin' Flex, Ocularis, Craig Sterry, Seamus, Jonesy, The Great Two Ties, Lauren Whatevs, the Pirate King Tuccrr, who hopefully is having a wonderful time at SnapCon, the Homie Min, who I miss, and of course Gunny T, and the T stands for, hey, if you would like a freaking badass Howard the Duck deck, check the link right below me. Y'all good with that? Check that link. You won't be sad you did. Peace, and I'll see you tomorrow for another Snap Take. Yeah, it's still me. You're not done with me yet.